So you're considering making a move to Florida and you don't know whether Melbourne or Palm Bay is best for you. Well, in today's video, we are going to talk about the pros and cons of each. That way you can make an informed decision about which area and community is going to serve you best. Both Melbourne and Palm Bay are located alongside the Indian River and anywhere from 15 minutes to 40 minutes to the ocean. This makes both cities ideal for fishing, boating, water sports, and enjoying a day at the beach. Additionally, the Space Coast offers the closest beaches to Orlando and the theme parks. With I-95 running through both Melbourne and Palm Bay, these cities are well connected, allowing for easy access to anywhere on the Space Coast. Even Orlando is only an hour and a half away. Next, I will get into the significant differences between Palm Bay and Melbourne. But first, my name is Rachel Langley and I am a real estate agent here in the Space Coast. If you're considering relocating to the area, either Palm Bay, Melbourne, or anywhere in the Space Coast for that matter, make sure you reach out to me. You can call, text, email me, or click that link below and set a 30-minute consultation with me because I got your back when it comes to moving to the Space Coast. Alright, so there are significant differences between Palm Bay and Melbourne, with cost of living being one of the top differences. Let's take a closer look at the cost of living in Melbourne compared to Palm Bay. Some costs in Melbourne and Palm Bay are very similar. Healthcare costs are the same as these two cities are right next to each other. Utility costs are about 0.3% higher in Palm Bay, while grocery prices are 1% higher in Melbourne, Florida. A slightly more significant difference is the cost of transportation, which is 5.7% higher in Palm Bay. However, the most significant difference is the housing cost, which is 22.6% lower in Palm Bay. Housing cost is usually the main reason why people interested in moving to Melbourne, Florida consider Palm Bay as an alternative. In 2022, both Melbourne and Palm Bay had a cost of living index of 95.6. This means the cost of living in both cities are 4.4% lower than the US average and 7.3% lower than the average for Florida. For real estate, Melbourne had a median home cost of $348,000, which is slightly higher than the national average, but lower than the Florida average. On the other hand, Palm Bay had a median home cost of $301,000, which is significantly lower than both the national and state averages. Let's take a closer look at the different sizes of homes in Melbourne and Palm Bay so you'll know exactly under which circumstances you should buy in Melbourne and when it's better to live in Palm Bay, Florida. The median sale price year to date for a 3-bedroom home is $375,000 in Melbourne and $306,000 in Palm Bay. For a 4-bedroom house, the gap is even more significant, with Melbourne's median price being $563,000 and Palm Bay at $350,000. The home prices are a big pro for Palm Bay, and you will often find that the homes in the same price range in Palm Bay are in better condition. Something to take into consideration that is a downside to these low real estate prices in Palm Bay is that there are different areas within both Melbourne and Palm Bay. In Palm Bay, there are some neighborhoods that predominantly sell for $340,000 and above. In particular, the neighborhoods at Bayside Lakes near the Majors Golf Club stand out from the rest of Palm Bay, with sidewalks throughout the entire community, beautiful landscaping, and great amenities. There are several new construction communities as well that will provide amenities and will have sidewalks throughout. Some of these communities include courtyards at Waterstone, St. John's Preserve, Sanibel Cove, and the preserves at Stonebriar. However, outside of these areas, most neighborhoods outside of an HOA in Palm Bay don't have sidewalks. So if you want to take a walk without having to drive anywhere, you will probably be better off in Melbourne, Florida, or an HOA neighborhood. One of the biggest draws to Palm Bay is people don't want to pay HOAs. So there are a lot more non-HOA properties in Palm Bay as well. Another pro of Melbourne over Palm Bay is having significantly more dining, shopping, and entertainment options. Melbourne has more than 4 times as many restaurants, bars, and coffee shops per square mile as Palm Bay. There are 3 shopping malls in Melbourne and West Melbourne. They are called Melbourne Square Mall, the Avenue Vieira, and Hammock Landing. Melbourne also has the downtown and O'Galley districts with lots of bars and pubs. The only larger shopping center in Palm Bay is the Shops of Palm Bay, a strip mall with a Walmart, Publix, Lowe's, Home Depot, and several fast food options. So if you like shopping and dining, Melbourne, Florida may be a better option for you. Palm Bay isn't too far of a drive away from Melbourne, but it depends on your preference of proximity to these types of amenities. School ratings in Melbourne are about 1 grade better than in Palm Bay, so that's another pro for Melbourne. Schools in Palm Bay have an overall B to C rating compared to Melbourne schools with an average A to B rating. Although Palm Bay is the largest by population city in the county, a big pro of Palm Bay is the population density, which is 48% lower, meaning fewer people are living per square mile in Palm Bay than in Melbourne. That's why even though most areas in Melbourne and Palm Bay have a suburban feel to them, Melbourne has more of a tendency towards a smaller city vibe. In contrast, Palm Bay can feel more rural in some areas. When it comes to the things to do in each city, Melbourne, Florida exceeds in fun and entertainment, while Palm Bay offers more nature and outdoor activities. Melbourne has some lovely nature parks like Wickham Park, Crane Creek, and Erna Nixon Park. However, they don't compare to the 130 acres of Turkey Creek Sanctuary in Palm Bay with jogging trails, nature trails, and a beautiful boardwalk overlooking Turkey Creek. The 4-mile-long Turkey Creek is also a great place to take a canoe or kayak and enjoy the scenic landscape. If you're looking for more fun and entertainment, Melbourne, Florida would be the winner. In addition to all the shopping and dining, Melbourne offers decent nightlife in downtown Melbourne. Several bars stay open until 2 a.m. The Brevard Zoo is also located in Melbourne, Florida, and is an awesome spot to explore. There are twice as many movie theaters and bowling alleys in the Melbourne area compared to Palm Bay. There is also a roller skating rink and a trampoline adventure park in Melbourne. The Andretti Thrilled Park is located in Melbourne with 5 go-kart tracks, mini golf, ropes course, a climbing wall, laser tag, arcade games, and several rides. So which one of these cities is better suited for you? Well, it depends. Let's stack up the pros and cons against each other and see when it's better to be living in Melbourne and when it's better to move to Palm Bay. The overall cost of living, including housing, transportation, groceries, healthcare, and utilities, is about 1% lower in Palm Bay. Real estate prices in Palm Bay are significantly lower, especially for 4-bedroom homes. Prices can be almost half of what you would pay in Melbourne. Additionally, the population density is considerably lower in Palm Bay, which means more space for fewer people. So those are the main pros for Palm Bay. On the other hand, Melbourne, Florida has more than 4 times the restaurants, bars, and coffee shops per square mile than Palm Bay. Melbourne also has significantly more shopping and entertainment opportunities like the malls, downtown, the art district, the zoo, the Andretti Thrilled Park, and much more. Most Melbourne neighborhoods have sidewalks, and the schools are on average 1 grade better rated than in Palm Bay. So what's more important to you? In Palm Bay, you may be able to find a much larger home in your price range. Homes in your price range could also be more updated or renovated in Palm Bay, especially if you need to find a 4-bedroom home on a budget. You should look into Palm Bay if you want a larger, more affordable home. Plus, you can quickly drive to all the fun things to do because I-95 connects Palm Bay to Melbourne. However, keep in mind that the Palm Bay neighborhoods with nice sidewalks and pretty landscaping have much higher sales price than the city average. So don't necessarily expect to get a perfectly manicured neighborhood on a budget in Palm Bay. If you're looking for that rural feel while being just minutes away from everything Melbourne has to offer, Palm Bay could be the perfect spot for you. But just because Palm Bay has lower real estate prices than Melbourne does not mean that Melbourne has high real estate prices overall. The housing cost in Melbourne is still 7.3% lower than the rest of Florida. Melbourne still has affordable real estate prices, and it's just a few minutes to the beaches. So if your budget allows for it and you want to have a lot of shopping, dining, and entertainment nearby, you might want to focus on Melbourne, Florida. All in all, both Melbourne and Palm Bay have their unique advantages and disadvantages. No matter which city you choose, both Melbourne and Palm Bay offer a high quality of life and a variety of attractions and activities to enjoy. Whether you're looking for nature and outdoor adventures or shopping and entertainment, the Space Coast has something for everyone. Thank you for watching, and hey, please hit the subscribe button, click that little bell. That way you can be notified every time we make a new video. Please comment below and let me know where you're watching from because I would love to hear from you. And please ask me any questions you may have. If you're considering making the move, relocating, buying or selling or investing in the Space Coast, Just know that I got your back and my information is in the description and pinned comment below. See you on the next one.